In this lesson, I'll show you my at-a-glance test, which is designed to ensure anyone reading charts can quickly understand them and get the intended value from them. We'll then finish off our chart formatting and add an appropriate colour to the chart bars. I always use an at-a-glance test to consider whether my chart or graph has achieved the required purpose. What this means is ideally, and it's not always possible, you should be able to look at a chart or a piece of information in a chart, like a bar, and without having to process how it works first, it tells you immediately its value or the intended message of the chart as a whole. We're going to use our at-a-glance test on the Avengers Infinity War movie inside this graph. At a glance, I cannot see the exact value of that bar. I could make an approximation by looking at the bar, working down to the x-axis and working out that it's somewhere just short of 700, but I don't know the value accurately. If I was using Excel interactively, I could actually hover on the bar and it will tell me the accurate value. However, if I was putting this chart on a PowerPoint presentation or if I printed it, that option wouldn't be there, so it's not ideal. Let me show you an alternative. If you've got loads of data in your chart, this might not be the best for you, but in many cases, this is a real useful tip. What you can do is click on any of the bars and it will select all of them together. I can then click on this plus sign at the top, click on data labels, and next to each bar, it will give me the accurate value for each bar. Now, that means that this bottom axis here is effectively redundant, so we can just delete it. Click on it, click delete. Equally, the vertical lines in the graph that act as sort of guidelines to different blocks of value, we can delete those as well. What we've done there is remove two things, which means at a glance I can see the exact value and I'm not distracted by other things that don't need to be there. Hopefully you'll agree that we've now cleaned the chart up quite a lot. We've removed a number of the distractions which cause your brain to have to think about multiple things just to get to the one core piece of data that you really do want to know or you want your audience to know. There's one stage further we can go. You'll notice that there's a grey border around the chart. So why don't we click on the chart, click on Format, and then Shape Outline and go to No Outline. If I remove that, you can see that there's no difference in terms of understanding that the chart is different to the table. And I think it's just another thing we can remove. There is a quote I absolutely love that is attributed to this guy here, whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce. The designer knows they have achieved perfection not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. I try to keep this in mind throughout every workbook I design. Any unnecessary click I can remove for the final user of my tool will benefit them each and every time they use it. In some cases, if you don't consider these things, it means your message or the information you're trying to convey loses its impact in the midst of numerous redundant lines, colours and text elements scattered across the tool. Now let's match the colour of the bars in our graph to our theme. We want to use the purple from the title so that it matches perfectly, and I'll show you how to get that exact colour in a minute. Before that though, I want to just show you something quickly around the quirkiness of selecting areas inside the graph. If you click on the graph itself, you will select all of the bars as long as you've clicked on a bar. If you click again though, by accident, which can happen, you end up selecting one bar. And then when you change the colour, you think you're going to change all the bars and you just change one. It's a bit of a pain. To get around that, if you've selected one, just click away from the graph completely and then go back in and click and you'll get all of the bars again. That's probably the easiest way of doing it. When we pick the colour for the text in our text box, we selected the box like this, and then in here, we went to more colours, and then we chose a custom colour here and tweaked around with it on this up and down vertical selector. What we can then do is look down here and we see this value that is hex. So a hashtag, and then it's got some characters in it. We take that value, it will represent the exact colour that we've picked there. That means we can use that code to go and get that colour accurately in other areas. Now we've got our code selected, we can just right click on it, click copy, and then we can just cancel out of this window. That's now stored in our clipboard. So we now want to click onto our graph here, select all the bars together, click on format, and then in shape fill, we can pick various different colors. So I could just click orange and all the bars will change to orange. Equally, I could go into shape fill again, click on more fill colors, and in the custom tab, we just overtype. So if we right click and do paste, we'll put our code over the top of that, and if we click OK, you should see that it matches the exact colour that is in the text box. If you wanted to get a really specific colour, so let's say you wanted to take something out of your corporate logo to stay on brand, then you can do that with a little trick in PowerPoint that I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to show you an example where I take the purple from the colour in the glasses of the Excel Goat logo. So let's go over to PowerPoint and look at how that's done. So first of all, take a copy of your logo. So I can right click it here, click copy, and then go to PowerPoint. You'll see I've drawn a yellow square on the screen. It doesn't need to be yellow. paste your logo in here, and let's say we wanted to change the color of that box to exactly the color of the glasses in the Excel Goat logo. So I'd click on here, and then over in this format shape option, so to get to that, right click, click format shape, and then the fill, if I pick solid fill, drop this down, and then go to the eyedropper tool. It's not available in Excel, unfortunately. This is why we need to do it in PowerPoint. Click on that, and then we can pick colors from the screen. So you see if I highlight over the Excel Goat glasses, click on that, it's going to change the color of that square to match exactly that color. Now, if I right click on that, and again, back in the format shapes, we've already got it, click down there, go to more colors, and we can then take the code out of here and use that back in Excel. So I've now used the color from the glasses in the title at the top and also in the bars in the graph. I think that's starting to come together really nicely and looking like a professional theme where it's consistent throughout. We've not got loads of different colors, but the colors we have got are consistent throughout the whole model. In the next lesson, we'll be making some more charts, and I'll introduce you to the chart templates function, which allows us to clone existing layouts and saves bags of time.